Corey, we got Houston, and there's only one thing to say. It's, well, I guess we're going to have to take control. Welcome into another episode of the McKale Madness podcast. I'm your host, Saul Bookman. That is my guy, Corey Williams. And, that cold open is basically, the way I feel about Houston right now is that, they can make you see ghosts. And I put something in our chat earlier today. It was a song from Ghostbusters 2, and it's Bobby Brown. He says, well, I guess we're gonna have to take control. Because it's true. I mean, Arizona's got to take control of this one because Houston's too good of a team to just kind of mess around, right? So, but before we even get to that, lots happened in this past week, and I really, honestly, I don't really know where to start because a week ago. Go ahead.
Can I suggest we start with a prayer? We never really, can I start off the show? I'd like to thank you, Heavenly Father, for the crackhead team up north that beat Texas Tech. We want to give thanks for ASU for delivering that win and giving them their third or fourth loss in the league, Heavenly Father. We want to thank you for giving Arizona the chance to take first place this weekend in Houston. All respects due, all praises to the Honorable Bobby Hurley. Thank you. Now that we got the prayer out the way, don't tell me you wasn't hyped about them boys up north.
I was for a hot second until I realized JT Toppin was probably not going to be a part of this team for very much longer, and that changed the whole dynamic after that because Tech without JT Toppin is not winning this conference.
That's a blow to the league, to the conference. Like, I really was telling people the Big 12 was going to have 5 teams in the Sweet 16. I still think it could be possible with Toppin, Iowa State, Kansas, Arizona, Houston. I think all those teams can win their first 2 games, but Tech without Toppin, I thought they banged knees and he was going to be okay. And then when the ACL thing dropped the next day, I was floored. I don't definitely feel for him and that team because they had a bright future with him as their player, as their best player.
And that's kind of where I want to go. If we fast forward to a week ago, it was Arizona just suffered their first loss of the season, but Richie Saunders was still playing. We didn't know the status of Koa Peat, and we didn't really have any news that would suggest that he wasn't going to, certainly not be out this week because he did play on Saturday, but then, re-aggravated or just didn't feel right. And then JT Toppin goes down. 2 of the better players in the Big 12 down. And listen, like, rivalry is a rivalry. We can hate the other team or whatever, but real hoopers love real hoopers balling, and I think losing JT Toppin and Richie Saunders the way that we did, plus Koa Peat going down, and I think there's been a lot said about Koa Peat of late in terms of he just didn't look right. He hasn't played up to the level that the tone that he kind of set from the start, and I think some of these things kind of obviously influenced his play because he just didn't look right the last 2 games, especially after, to me, I thought he tweaked his leg against Kansas.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, and then obviously it was a muscle strain after, that we found out about afterwards. And I think we're seeing how much of an impact his loss really does have on this Arizona team. They don't have the cushion or the flexibility to play in these games. Even last night against BYU, I thought they played a good game because I thought they had to. They couldn't mess around and let BYU kind of hang around too much I was glad to see them put it away, but you need other players to step up. And Corey, I know you've been in this position before where maybe X player here or X player here or foul trouble. And hey, somebody's got to step up. And sometimes it's the guy off the bench. Sometimes it's your fifth option, whatever. But somebody's got to step up. And last night, Anthony Dell'Orso certainly did that.
Well, I think he was the obvious choice. I mean, you're not going to put that kind of pressure on CD Gay. I mean, he's never even seen the court for like 20 straight games. So all of a sudden he gets put in the game against BYU. Dell'Orso had the combination of experience and talent. I actually said this on the radio earlier before the game. He's the guy that has to step up. The shots that he normally takes, you got to take those too. But now we're going to add on 6 or 7 shots that you normally don't take. I'm going to need you to take those. You have license to shoot the good ones and the bad ones. You're going to take them and you need to make them. And that's what I said about 3 hours before tip. And lo and behold, he took some shots that he normally didn't take and he made them. And he was the difference in the game. He has the experience and the ability, a returning player who's not shook, that can score. But now you've got the offensive latitude to pull an extra half dozen shots that you don't pull when Koa Peat's in the rotation. So credit to him for not only taking the responsibility, but actually connecting on those shots and being a difference maker for Arizona. I'm really kind of frustrated because I think Dwayne Aristode gets you 10 in a game like that when now all of a sudden he's given license to be more aggressive offensively. So I'm really excited about him coming back and obviously Koa coming back as well. But not surprised Delly stepped up. Had Aristode been healthy, I think he would have raised a few eyebrows too.
Yeah, no, I could see that. And we still don't know if Aristotle will even be available on Saturday. We know Koa Peat is out officially, but Aristote's still battling an illness. And hey, listen, knock on wood. Hopefully, this illness has not permeated the locker room, because I know Kevin and Damon had mentioned last night that Braden Burries had posted to his own Instagram, basically getting an IV shot. And this is the official Disney World podcast, apparently, because my man's drinking out of Mickey's lower half, and I've got a Disney hat on. How about that? Like, synergy. We didn't even talk about this.
It's hot chocolate,
So, I think, when you look at Delly's performance, yes. And what's funny is that I was actually on that same radio show that you were on. I don't know if it was before or after. And they asked who I thought would start. And I said Awaka. I don't think they're going to mess around and have Delly. Kelvin thought that they should start Delly because they thought they needed to get him going. I thought it doesn't really matter if he starts or not, because he's going to get the minutes. And that's exactly what happened. And he lit it up and he was aggressive. And I think that's the one thing about Delly that I've not liked watching, is that it was almost like a deferral, and the 3-point line was his safe space, and he'll shoot it if he gets it, but if not, he'll just play his defense, play his role. Last night you saw a different kind of Delly, and I think an aggressive Delly makes an impact in the game, even if Koa Peat and Dwayne Aristode are part of the rotation. He needs to be aggressive because he does have the best 3-point shot on the team. And so when he looks for his opportunities, he's got to take them. He can't be passive. And against Houston, of all teams, you can't play weak. You can't play soft. I've said this about other teams that were playing against Arizona. When you get the opportunity to get a clean look, you can't pass it up. You have to take it, because they don't come around very often. Houston is one of the best defensive teams, if not the best defensive team in the country, and they're going to test you. And Delly being aggressive is a good sign for Saturday.
And I hate to deconstruct the positive, but the analyst side of my brain just goes there, and I feel like I owe it to our viewers. Delly is a shooter, and BYU is not known for their on-ball defense. As a matter of fact, BYU plays zone. So when you talk about a formula for success, the BYU game was that for Delly. He's a shooter that got to see zone for a significant amount of minutes. Ain't gonna be no zone in Houston, bro. To your point, ain't nobody playing no zone. And what makes it even worse is we lost one of our 2 players that always gets double teamed. Koa Peat, Kelvin Sampson was going to double Koa Peat, and then Karchenkov's drives and Delhi threes and Bradley and Gowaka putbacks and all those things that come out of the Koa Peat double team would be on the table Saturday. Krivas will get double teamed by Kelvin Sampson, and we should be able to create some things out of that. But having two guys on the floor at the same time that both get double teamed, Arizona's had that situation 23 or 24 times this season. Every time they step out on the court, that's the reality. You got to double our bigs. We've learned and grown accustomed to how to play off of that. We're going into Houston with one guy that's going to get double teamed. And they may play Krivas straight up until he makes a couple. But after he makes a couple, I know Sampson will double team him. What do we do from that point on? The Delhi open three, coaches watch tape. They're sitting somewhere in the room right now watching those threes land against BYU. You see that? You can't let that happen. You can't let that happen. So Delhi, we need that productivity, and this is the challenge to him. You got to get those same numbers in a different way Saturday. And I don't know how the hell he's going to do it, but he has to. Free throw line, catch somebody sleeping, transition pull-up, Steph Curry style. I don't care how you get them, but they won't come to you the same way they came to you against BYU.
Yeah, no, I for sure. Now I don't want to get too far into the Houston point because we're gonna talk about that here in a second. But I do think that was a get right game for Arizona last night against BYU. I think there was a lot of things that you could take away. First, that they showed that everybody is a threat, and I do mean everybody. Even the 10 minutes that CD Gay had on the floor, they were a different 10 minutes from a big than we have seen this year. And the reason why I say that is because last night on the postgame show I talked about CD Gay full out sprints coast to coast. And just that little bit, because he's sprinting, the bigs and others that are trying to trail, they got to focus on that because he will catch the lead pass because Jaden Bradley's pretty good about that. But because of that, it distracts from the trail and also the guards that are trying to attack the basket. And we saw that a couple times with Delhi specifically. The other thing is everybody got a chance to get some good work in, and they got some shots off. The threes were hitting. And again, Jay Billis said it last night. It's not that Arizona's a terrible three-point shooting team. They just don't shoot a lot of them. And last night they hit 9 out of 21 on the season. They're about the Big 12 average, actually a little bit above it. So it's not like they're an awful team from the perimeter. They got guys that can shoot. They just don't usually have to because they can throw the ball down low and just bang you up. Well, guess what? That modification's about to happen right now. We talked about teams forcing Arizona to beat them from the outside. BYU tried to do it last night. And what was funny about BYU's defense, it was just really odd because they did this matchup zone and they would switch all the time. And then they would match up zone, but then they would go 2-2-3. And Corey, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I know usually as a shooter, you go zone, would you stop slurping your damn cup?
It's good. My bad. Go ahead. It's good.
Every time I'm like, I'm trying to focus on my point here.
The Mickey cup is throwing you. So go ahead.
Every time somebody goes zone, you're licking your chops because you know you're going to get an open shot if everything goes right. Obviously, Houston's not going to do that. So
right.
How does Arizona get some more free open looks against a good team like Houston coming up? I don't know. But I do know that they should be feeling pretty good from the perimeter themselves, kind of proving their proof of concept, if you will.
You've got to create the three in transition. You got to create the three out of the double team. And maybe you create the three out of sideline or baseline inbounds plays because it's not going to come through the natural course of the game. Houston is a team that switches everything 1 through 4, which plays into our hands if it's Jaden Bradley on a screen because now he's going against the 4-man or a 3 or somebody he can beat. But if you get denied, which Houston denies everything, Houston comes into every game believing we can guard you man-to-man and keep you out of the lane. Well, if nobody ever has to rotate and everybody can stay home, and the one defender can test the shot, everybody's in rebounding position. And Houston, what they do is they suffocate you. And for Arizona, they have to go into this game knowing that they have to draw fouls. You have to react to the pressure with offensive pressure. Even if you don't score, drive to the lane and get hacked, hand the ball to the ref. That's one. Drive to the lane, get hacked. That's two. You have to know that's the only way to get them to back off, because if you go back on your heels and just give the ball up, they're going to stay in you all game. You have to challenge that guy and know that you're going to get fouled. But most importantly, Saul, you have to like and want to be fouled in a game like this, because yeah, you guys are known for your defense, but the rules are the rules, and Arizona has capable players. So Burries, Delly, Ivan, they can't shy away from the contact. You get that ball on the wing, yeah, the BYU player's playing off you a foot and a half because he's got bad feet and he can't guard. You get the ball at Houston, he's in your jersey because he believes he's quicker than you. He believes he can keep you from getting past him. He's under a mandate from his coach. If you get scored on, you're coming out the game. So it's a totally different level. I think Arizona can match their level. I know Tommy's showing our guys the tape of what they're about to face. They haven't faced it all year, but I think they're ready for it. And the last thing I'll get to is JB has the ball in his hands. So if you're shook, or if you're not playing well, or if you're not making great decisions, he has the decision-making ability on who he even gives the ball to. So that's a saving grace for Arizona if they don't get off to a great start in the beginning of the game.
So we might as well go ahead and get into Houston, since we just kind of just went ahead and got into it. And I will say this: Houston loves to trap your guards, especially up high, when you're not, sometimes when you least expect it. They love that trap. And Arizona has had trouble with the ball sticking sometimes when they are faced with those traps. This is my number one concern for Saturday, is that they are, they get caught off guard, or they're just not prepared, or the actions are not where they need to be in order to get out of those traps. Because Houston's such a good rotation team, it doesn't matter that they're going to trap you. You're still not going to get an open shot, even if you get out of those double teams. But you got to move the ball quicker and with purpose. And I think they did that last night against BYU. BYU tried to do a couple times to try to do some stuff like that. That ball was moving from side to side, which is good. You need that to happen. Continue to make that happen. But don't let that ball stick, knowing that you don't have the best shot, and knowing that the next guy is probably going to have the better one. That's where you have to have trust with your teammates. So when we see Saturday, to me, that's my number one key. How do they deal with the traps? If they can get out and they don't let Houston trap you, then I think they're going to be okay. But if they have 10 plus turnovers, in my opinion, that's a recipe for failure, in my opinion, because I do feel like that's kind of the number. I think if they keep it to under 10, that's a good, clean game. You can handle, your occasional, mess up here and there, but you have 8 or 9 turnovers against Houston, you're cooking with grease. If you have more than that, you're giving Houston multiple opportunities to get out and run on the fast break, get out and run with the athletes that they already have. They have the best trio of guards probably in the country. And then on top of that, they have some bigs that can run the floor, especially with the freshman Cenac, who's going to, who can be a problem. So they've got a lot of versatility. Arizona also has a lot of versatility, but it's a little bit of a different style of versatility. They're more bulk and size and power you down low, whereas Houston is lengthy, strong, and they cause havoc more than I think Arizona does defensively. They're two good defensive teams, but a little bit of different styles in the way they approach it, which is, it's going to be a fun and interesting game to watch.
Okay, so old man story time. 1994 Maui Invitational. We're playing Kentucky. Kentucky had one of the most fiercest full court presses I've ever seen. On the point of their press was a 6'9" terror named Walter McCarty.
Mhm.
Walter had a wingspan like an eagle. So if you took the ball out of bounds, he's right there in front of you, and it's 7'3", fingertip to fingertip. He would get a deflection. If you entered it to the corner, he's trapping, and you're done. And I remember as we prepared for that game, we watched film on the press, and Coach Olsen said, what they want you to do is to go back on your heels and bring the ball up and try to make some desperation pass to a teammate. We're not going to go backwards. As soon as you get the ball, you size up the guys, and whoever the bigger player is, that's who you attack, and that's who you draw the foul on. They tried to trap us. We had 2 NBA lottery guards, which was a huge bonus for us because we didn't really have to do much ball handling.
That helps.
It helps a little bit when both your guards are lottery picks. But the point is, you meet, like I said before, you meet that pressure with aggression. Now, this is a clash of the Titans, number 4 versus number 2 in the country. I can tell you right now, Saul, there won't be any fouls called in the opening 8 minutes of this game because referees don't need to. They're not calling nothing because the game hasn't been decided. Play through it. I'm not going to burden either team with ticky-tack fouls early. Now, it might be a tight whistle the final 6 minutes of the game, but in a game like this on national TV, 2 of the best teams in the country, 2 of the best coached teams in the country, we don't want to be the story. So we're over here just watching the game. Oh, maybe he did bump you a little on that trap. Maybe he did hook you a little bit when he went to lay it up. We don't care. Figure it out. You're Houston. You're Arizona. Don't come crying to us in the opening 2 or 3 minutes of the game. So Arizona has to get their mind prepared. A, you're on the road. And B, as far as the officials are concerned, you 2 teams are equal. So neither of whoever starts crying is who's going to lose. That's usually how it goes. So it's going to be such a mental game for Arizona because, to your point, Houston is Texas Tech plus 40% on defense. They just got through playing a Houston-like defensive team, and now they're going to Houston to see the real, authentic version of pressure defense, guards that switch everything, and a team that traps every ball screen no matter who's doing it. So if you call for a ball screen, you better have your boots strapped on tight because they're going to trap you. And if you throw a weak pass and it gets picked off for a dunk and all of a sudden they got to go to commercial and timeout and the place gets to rocking, all because you was scared. And this is how we used to talk to each other during the game. I remember when Jason Terry and AJ were on the team, we used to tell them, like, bro, don't get out here and be scared. Because I don't need to be rushing back, committing a foul because you're scared. I don't need to rotate over and, do something because you're not playing aggressive. If you make an aggressive mistake, we live with that. But if you out here doing scary stuff, we can't cover for that. So Arizona, I said it 3 or 4 times, it's going to be mental. I think they'll be prepared for it. I just hope they don't rely on the ball screen early while Houston's all jacked up and everybody's got 0 fouls, because that's when they're going to be their most aggressive.
Yeah, it's funny to say, Houston's all jacked up because they just don't give me the impression that it really matters that much to them. You know what I mean? Like, like the crowd is the crowd, but they just have such a good process that it doesn't really matter. Like they know the mission, they know the task at hand. They also just came off a loss to Iowa State. So they know they got to get right in this game. And they also know, and both teams know this, whoever loses this game probably ain't winning the Big 12.
Yeah.
Because they both have 2 losses, and the winner would not only have that 1-loss edge on them, but also have the tiebreaker. And I don't see too many teams overcoming Houston down the stretch in order to win. I could be wrong, but you would need Houston to lose 2 out of their last 5 or 6 in order to get it done. And I just don't see Houston doing that down the stretch.
No, because I think you're right in the fact that calm that Houston has, they're very blue collar, the way they play. And the reason that they're calm and the crowd doesn't matter and the home versus road doesn't matter is because Houston is so relaxed and confident in their defense. We are going to bully you and wear you down. You might have some points in the first 10 minutes. You may have some points at halftime, but minutes 30 through 40, you ain't going to be there, and we will. they're confident and they're relaxed. The same way Arizona had that confidence and they were relaxed when they ran off 23 in a row, 24 in a row, because Arizona knew we got Tobe, we got Krivas, we got Koa, we got Burries, we got ain't no way you're going to stay with us for 40. We're going to wear you down and get you in foul trouble and eventually pull away from you, regardless of how jacked up you are. Arizona was calm and confident because of their inside game. Houston's calm and confident because of their ability to defend. Let's not forget, Houston was up double digits in the second half at Iowa State. It looked like they were about to walk away with that game. And then Iowa State made some threes, and Houston made a couple of mistakes down the stretch that weren't very Kelvin Sampson-like, but Houston was in control of that game. So they're not a team, to your point, you're right. They're not a team that gets shook. They're not a team that has highs and lows. Their comfort comes from the fact that they believe they can beat you up and not first round knockout. They're like, this fight's going to get stopped in the 8th round. That's all our fights. All our fights get stopped in the 7th or 8th round. That's how we play. So Arizona's got to be committed to that energy level, like we said.
For sure. But they're not without their own faults in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for sure. And I don't think every team in this country, in the country, could get got at any point.
Sure.
But I think when you're looking at Houston, if you're talking about their weaknesses, I mean, down the stretch, I really thought that they kind of suffered from like a little bit of an identity crisis, if you will, because Uzan is not really like their clutch go-to player. Kingston Flemings has been phenomenal, and Sharp had 4 fouls, and he was kind of in foul trouble, and they were using him sporadically. So they kind of suffered from that. But to your point, the reason why Sharp got in foul trouble is because Iowa State was trying to be the aggressor as well, and they caused that to happen. When I look at Arizona, I don't necessarily feel like – I think the guards have to play, good, but I don't really feel like the game is won with the guards, in my opinion. Their defense on their guards, certainly, for sure. But Burries and Bradley and Dell'Orso winning the game, I don't really feel like that's going to be so much of the factor as it will be Krivas and Tobe Awaka. I just feel like those two have got to play their best game of the season if Arizona wants to win this game. And when I say best game of the season, I mean you don't catch the ball down low in the post, Krivas, and wait for the double to come and then hold on and hold on and hold on and hold on. You got to know where you want to go with the ball as soon as that double starts to make its way over, not once it gets there. Because once it gets there, it's too late. Houston's too good. They will force turnovers, and they will be aggressive with you. And referees have not called fouls for Krivas very often.
Oh, my God. He gets murdered. He gets murdered.
He gets murdered, and they have not called fouls for him very often. You also got to know that going in. Like, I don't get the calls, so I got to be on point tonight. And that might even mean as soon as I catch the ball, I'm going at him. Like, I'm not waiting. I'm not being passive. I'm not working the – no, I'm abusing this dude down low, and I'm gonna force them to have to make a move, and I'm gonna make it obvious that they're gonna foul me. Like, Krivas is, to me, Krivas is the key to the game. If he plays the same way he did at Kansas, I think they got a shot.
There's 2 things that I'm watching. The first is Houston's guards all play 30 minutes a game. Mm-hmm. So your bucket getters, all of them, 16, 16, and 11, your bucket getters play 30 minutes. Can we get some fouls on the bucket getters? Because if we can, totally different ball game. If 16 points a game is sitting over there with 2 fouls with 11 minutes to go in the first half, it's a totally different game. So can Burries get contact and force issues and be aggressive? Any one of those guys gets in foul trouble, it changes Houston drastically. And then secondly, the bigs have to dominate. And what do I mean when I say they have to dominate? I don't need 20 points from both Krivas and Tobe Awaka. Hell, they could both each get 12. That's still going to be enough. What I mean dominate is when Tobe Awaka moves you out the way and you commit a foul trying to keep him from getting the offensive rebound, that's domination. When Tobe Awaka steps in and seals and you commit a foul because you're panicking, going over his back, trying to keep him from getting the ball, That's domination. When Tobe moves you out the way and gets the putback, they have to dominate. They have to draw fouls. They have to send the physical message early that you guys shoot, but when you miss, the ball belongs to us. Don't even think about trying to get offensive rebounds. And they have to be smart enough to get the offensive rebounds when they're there, but stay away from the cheap fouls, because this Arizona lineup is so fragile right now without Koa Peat and Dwayne Aristode. 2 fouls on Krivas or Tobe in the first half, Tommy Lloyd's going to have to be a magician. If that happens, he's going to have to be a magician to get us to halftime and keep it to single digits. Because as much as I like Gay, this may not be the game for him to be out there in that environment, and they smell blood, and it's just a high-level game. And, I'm sure he's a great player, and he will become even a better player, but I don't want to see our bigs with 2 fouls early. That's all.
Listen, I'm right there with you. I don't want to doubt CD, but this game is not for the weak, and I'm not saying that he's weak. I'm just saying that
you low key called him weak, though.
Well, I mean, listen, he's inexperienced. He is inexperienced on the road.
Oh yeah, for
very
sure.
Hostile environment against one of the best teams in the country, and not just one of the best teams in the country. If they were playing Duke, I would probably feel a little bit differently. If they were playing Michigan, even, I would feel probably a little bit differently. But they're playing one of the more physical and intimidating, teams in the country, and have had that reputation for now almost 8 years in a row. It's just something about Houston that is Arizona's kryptonite so far in the Big 12. They've played them 3 times in the last 4 years, and they've lost all 3. Why? Every single time, it's almost because they've gotten out-physicaled. And really last year, it was a little bit of that, but more, it was just they were just out-executed. I just thought that Houston, with their guards, were just out-executed Arizona last year. Now, this year is different. This Arizona team is a lot more cohesive than last year's team. They trust each other to make plays, unlike last year's team to a degree. So I do have more confidence in this year's team by a mile. However, they didn't play at Houston last year. They played at Arizona and lost. This time they're going to Houston. It's going to be a tough environment. However, before we get to anything else, let's check the ball up top, because I want to see and get your thoughts on some of these matchups. All right. So straight up man to man, Jaden Bradley, Kingston Flemings. Kingston Flemings has got the talent, but Jaden Bradley's got the experience. Who do you like in that matchup?
Oh, this is so hard, because I'm going to say something that's going to sound crazy. Kingston Flemings may be more productive, but Jaden Bradley may have more impact. Yeah. And for real hoop heads, you understand exactly what I mean. JB's line may not be sensational. He may be 5 of 9, but they were the last 4 buckets of the game. You know what I mean? Who cares if JB's making the right reads and he's making sure the team wins? Kingston may have 25 points and 4 rebounds and take an L and be, he outplayed Jaden. First of all, in this DHO offense that everybody runs, dribble handoff, these guys aren't even going to be guarding each other. Once 1 or 2 passes into the set, they're not even going to be guarding each other. So I would say Jaden Bradley will have the edge there, because I expect him to have more impact as a senior than the freshman scorer. He's a phenom. I mean, absolute phenom. He's my favorite player in the upcoming draft. And I was watching him play, and he literally reminds me of Damon Stoudemire, because he's got a handle and he knows exactly when he's open. He raises up to shoot before the defender gets there. He gets to a spot, boom, game over. Raise up, knock down, jog back on defense. I haven't seen anybody that quick and that controlled in a long time. So he's a baller. I think he'll score his points, but I think there will be moments where he'll be a freshman, but I think JB will be more steady throughout the game.
I like to kind of equate it to, do you want Kevin Durant or do you want Draymond Green? Kevin Durant gets all the stats, one of the best shooters of all time, but his impact on winning is minimal at best.
Right.
Draymond Green, not so much with the stats, but He's a winner. He knows how to get the job done.
Yeah,
he'll
set the screen. He'll get the rebound. He'll make the pass. He'll do the thing. He'll do the thing that made the team win. He won't have done it himself, but yeah, I'm the one that set that screen for Clay. I'm the one that got that second offensive rebound, and then Steph hit the three. I'm the one who made that bounce pass on the back cut. He does the thing. And that was his strength in the Golden State heyday. Now he's just dissolved into straight thuggery, but that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, he's on
but
crazy.
So I would agree with you. So with Kingston and Jaden, that's going to be a fascinating matchup. All right, so the second matchup, we have on that screen. Kevin, can you pull it up, please, again one more time? Okay, Braden Burries, Milo Suzon. Listen, I love Braden Burries, but I think Uzon is his experience. His craftiness, he's definitely the leader on that team. And so that's going to be tough. Then you have Karchenkov and Sharp. Karchenkov and Sharp is probably my favorite matchup because Sharp is that one dude in the gym, I swear, that you're like, ain't no way he's going to hit that. He hit it. Like, he's their clutch guy. He's their most clutch guy. He just seemingly always hits the biggest buckets when you least expect it, and it's not the prettiest buckets, but he finds a way. Yvonne's going to have his hands full, but again, he's going to have to match up against the other two guards as well, like you pointed out.
This game is going to really be about the final 8 seconds of every possession. Both teams are going to come down and DHO, then boom, 10. When 10 seconds hits, that's money time. Can you stay in front of that guy when he goes to do what he do? Can you stay in front of him? And the same thing applies when Arizona has the ball. When we get into the late stages of the possession and Burries has it, does he challenge Uzon? Does he challenge Fleming? Can he draw a foul and get 2 easy free throws with 5 seconds remaining on the shot clock? That no team is going to give up anything wide open during the first 20 seconds of the possession. Both teams are just too good for that. They're too well coached for that. Yeah, we know you running the ball screen and you flip and he comes off and then he gets it there. We're going to hedge and you're going to bring it over here. You're going to reverse it. Then we're going to close out. We're going to deny the screen and send you, okay, now 10 seconds to go. Let's go. Let's go now. That's both teams. They're going to be well prepared. I'll be shocked if teams are seeing wide open shots in the first 20 seconds during the opening 10 minutes. It'll be that last 10 seconds. And this is the thing, Saul. That last 10 seconds don't have nothing to do with the coaches. They just standing over there. They're curious too. Like, what the hell you about to do? You got the, oh, wow, inside out pull up for, oh, that's nice. Okay, we'll take that. You didn't draw that up. That's just Jaden Bradley doing something that he had to do because the clock was winding down. That's just Fleming doing something that he had to do. End of possession. And you see it throughout college basketball. The teams that have the end of possession players do a lot better. Hell, even if your end of possession player misses, Toby Awaka grabs a rebound and lays it back in because he created the drive. So you got to have a guy, and both teams have several guys, but I hope Burries steps up to the challenge. And there's a viral clip from a podcast, Mason and Cameron, where Mace talks about big homies and little homies.
Mm-hmm.
Burries need to be like Mace. Don't respect the big homies. You on the court. I don't care if this is just your 25th or 26th or 27th game. I don't care how many games. He don't show him no respect. If he's up into you, blow past him and draw the foul. Don't be intimidated because he's got more experience. He may have been in the weight room more. He may be older. He may be a little craftier, but he got 2 legs just like you. Show him no respect. I don't think I need to say that to Burries, but I want to put it out there in the universe because this is their first time going to Houston. This is their first time playing Houston, a team like Houston. As much as they've had, oh, these guys have experience, people forget everything they do every week in the Big 12 is something new. BYU at home, at Provo, home against. These are new experiences. And yes, they've got experience under their belt, but everything is new. And there's a good possibility that the Houston game may be the most difficult game Brandon Burries he's ever played in his life.
It might be. It might be.
It does, and it's not even crazy to say that. If you look at the Arizona roster, our schedule, this game at Houston, it's definitely one of the most difficult games for the program this season. And if you're a freshman, you can't point to nothing in your past and say it's been more difficult than what you're about to do on Saturday.
No, I would say the only thing I would say is that they have played in tougher environments. I would say that.
I would say that.
Kansas, obviously at the top of the list. Like, there's no place like Kansas, and that's not a play with the Wizard of Oz. It's just true.
Yeah.
But in Houston, I don't know what's going on in Houston, and even Kelvin Sampson's talking about. As a matter of fact, somebody actually quote tweeted one of my tweets from Monday because when Houston went up 10, I was just sitting there like, man, Houston just does not let you breathe. They play good level, good solid basketball. Like, you got to play a damn near perfect game to beat Houston. I said that, and then of course they blew the lead and they lost, and it was like, of course. But the guy that quote tweeted my stuff, it says, I wish people in Houston would realize how good we have it with this team. They need more support. And I was blown away by that. I was like, damn, do they not get a lot of love in Houston? Apparently not. And that's crazy to me because, I mean, Kelvin Sampson's done a phenomenal job, and he's the one that was out here begging for more money because he feels like they can't compete unless they get some more donors in the fold. So maybe that environment just ain't all that. And I know other teams have, I've never felt like teams were rattled playing Houston because of the environment. I think they've been rattled playing Houston because of Houston.
I think, you look at Houston as a city, multiple professional organizations there. There is a plethora of things to do on the social scene in terms of entertainment. University of Houston ain't really been popping since Akeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler. So
they've been popping for the last 8 years.
National championship?
I mean, they've gone to like 2 or 3 Final Fours.
And you would think 2 or 3 Final Fours would have them hanging off the rafters in Ames, Iowa, or Storrs, Connecticut, or Tucson, Arizona. But in Houston, I mean, Houston got Beyonce. You know what I'm saying?
Like, performing every day.
But my point is, it's like,
they got Astroworld anymore, man. It's gone. R.I.P.
You would literally have to win a natty to get the buzz you deserve. And even then, it's going to be a little bit dissipated because it's Houston.
They went to the natty last year and they couldn't get no love.
And you still hear that's proving my point. They're getting closer than 99% of college basketball programs, yet they're having fundraising issues. And there's a question as to how much people appreciate what's going on. And I can only conclude that either A, they're not real basketball fans and don't understand how difficult it is to go to the Final Four, which Kelvin Sampson is doing, or B, they're just not that interested in Houston basketball. And it's crazy to me that it could be the second thing, because anybody who knows hoops, like you said, how difficult is it to battle in the Big 12, have over 25 wins every season, be nationally ranked? Now, they sell out the joint, but if there's really no appreciation for what they're doing, then I don't know. I'm scratching my head to figure out why people in Houston why should that man have to do a presser talking about how they don't have money or financial support? How is that possible?
That's crazy.
If y'all don't have financial support, who the hell does? Because you're beating almost everybody year after year, but you got schools out here with 2 or 3 times the NIL budget that aren't even half as good as you guys are.
BYU?
Shame on Houston.
BYU is a perfect example. Got more money than Houston.
Now, BYU is a tech. That's an anomaly because we know where their money come from. I mean, they got a billionaire NBA owner who's also a member of the church, who's also a BYU supporter. Doesn't he also own the Utah Jazz?
Utah Jazz and the Utah Mammoth.
Yeah, his pockets deep ain't even the word for his pockets. So you get AJ DeBanza for $7 million.
You mean to tell me there are not one donor that went to Houston in Texas?
I wish some of them oil men would get excited about Houston basketball because that's all Kelvin needs. He needs 2.
First of all, we don't call them oil men on this podcast because we're not going the Diddy route, okay?
Oh, okay. My bad. No Diddy.
Rephrase.
Okay, Landmen. How's that? The hit TV show Landmen. We won't say the oil men because they well apparently they did have some according to the trial there was some oil men in Houston.
What kind of podcast is this?
There were some oil men in Houston, but they wasn't the kind we was talking about. But anyway, my point is, before we got distracted, that maybe they do need some high. All they need is a couple of guys that are, outrageously wealthy to crack open the checkbook, and they'll be in good shape because Texas Tech, Lubbock, Texas, they don't have no money problems in Texas Tech. Oklahoma State, oil country, they don't got no. And you starting to see, can you imagine if Silicon Valley and the tech giants gave a damn about basketball in the Bay? Come on, man. Stanford, Cal, it'd be over. They could come to the table with money that nobody could even fathom, and there'd be nothing anybody could do about it. But they don't care. Stanford, get your education.
San Jose State could be the epicenter of everything.
Oh my God. And that's the thing. It's like now it's a question of who's got the rich alumni. And see, the SEC doesn't have these problems because if you go to SEC football games, those donors, those guys are wealthy. That's that old money in the South, and they have plenty of it. And they'll give it to Tennessee, they'll give it to Alabama, they'll give it to Georgia, they'll give it to Florida. Those people were born in that area, they do business in that area, and they support that area, and they don't have fundraising issues in the SEC. And I know a couple of guys that play in the SEC. I know some guys who did play. I know some guys who coach. And the first thing you do on day one when you take a job in the SEC is go meet the donors, because those are the same people that's going to get you fired if you lose by a touchdown or two. They get him up out of here. I mean, so that's a whole different coaching landscape and NIL landscape. But Houston not being appreciated is crazy to me when you say it like that.
It's just wild, man. It's just wild. It's sad. It's really sad. But hey, not my problem, not my worry.
Love
All
it.
I care about is, hey, are these Wildcats about to go to Houston and do some work? And I think it's going to be a good game. Listen, I like to keep it real. I think Arizona's up against it, especially being down Koa Peat, and we'll see with Aristode. I think they have to play a clean game. But I would also say that it would be a toss-up game anyway, even if Koa Peat was playing. So I think right now, I would say it's a 40% chance to win as opposed to 50, right? And especially considering you're going on the road, you're in their hood, and it could be a battle. And they're coming off of a loss. I think they're going to be a little fired up. This is a big moment because Arizona's got a lot of hype all season long. They're coming into Houston. Even the most casual basketball fan their ears will poke up. Hell, my daughter, okay, I love her to death, but I'm about to put her on blast. All right, my daughter has a Zona Zoo pass. She's been to one game all year because she's, listen, she's grinding. She's working part-time. Hey, much love to her. She gonna text me in the middle of the game when we were losing to Kansas, talking about what's up with the Wildcats. Like, we haven't even lost a game all season. What you gonna text me that for right now?
Like, sitting on that text for weeks. She couldn't wait to send that text when she thought they was gonna lose it. Now I can talk that ish, but not too much on her because she single-handedly saved the Tucson Summer Pro League. Her dancing on stage during our games, it lifted spirits. It motivated the refs, the players, and we was like, "Whose child is that?" That's
again. Out of context, that sounds really bad. She was dancing on a concert stage in the gymnasium. She wasn't dancing on stage and getting people all riled up. Okay, so, like it's a different
disclosure. Saul used to come down to the league with his kids, and he'd get them snacks. And little kids can't sit still, and we play music during the games. And his daughter, she just couldn't sit still. She'd jump up and dance. It was the cutest thing ever. It made us all laugh. We looked forward to the days where she would come because if the right song came on, she'd jump up and give us her moves, and we were like, "Look at her!" So the fact that she's in college now just makes me feel real old right now.
Hey, listen, she's a proud Wildcat, and I love her to death. But don't text me when my team's about to lose for the first time all year after game number 23. All right,
you touch on something good. Arizona at Florida. No, Arizona, Florida neutral site. Florida's the best team. They're going to punch Arizona in the mouth. Didn't happen. What was the score at halftime? Arizona goes to UConn. Oh, UConn and 2 of the last 3 national champs. They're going to punch Arizona in the mouth. What was the score at halftime? Arizona at Kansas. What was the score at halftime? Arizona against UCLA, Alabama, Auburn. What was the score at halftime? Arizona don't get punched in the mouth. We always go in the tunnel either up or within a bucket or 2. So I don't expect that to be any different Saturday. I don't think Arizona's going to get punked in the opening minutes and get down double digits. That's just not, it hasn't happened all season. No matter who they've played, I always tell people, and I can't as an analyst because my job is to be, consistent, but throw the first 20 minutes out. Adrenaline will get you through the first 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. I want to see the second half. So I'm expecting Arizona to withstand the initial Houston hype, be within striking distance at halftime. And then it's about adjustments and foul trouble and patterns and rhythms. Who can settle in? Because both of these teams are capable of getting 4 or 5 stops in a row. And if you're Arizona, you can't let that happen to you at Houston. And if you're Houston, you can't let that happen against Arizona because Jaden Bradley is a lockbox. You give him the ball with a 10-point lead, he going to make you suffer. He ain't going to just turn it over and do goofy stuff, and Arizona doesn't jack a lot of threes. They're not going to let you back in the game. So
he did do something a little goofy yesterday.
Oh, yesterday was
that 10-second call. I was like, what are we
doing? It was unfortunate. Yesterday, and the guys are getting tired and fatigued. No, there's no fatigue when you're in your early 20s. It's not, no. Fatigue doesn't exist. You don't get tired.
No.
You practice for 2.5 hours. You only play for 40 with TV timeouts and water breaks. Ain't nobody tired out there. Mentally, maybe there's a little bit of a lapse, but I'm not one that looks for excuses when things go bad. I think the ball bounces your way sometimes, and sometimes it bounces the other. But you got a lot of people who are superstitious and they want to start explaining stuff with statistics and analytics and superstition, things that really aren't real because they want to understand the game some way. And I'm like, no, he just dribbled off his leg. No, there was nothing else to it. It happens. You didn't like Krishenkov got a dunk to kind of put the game away yesterday where the ball, I think the Bands had just fumbled the ball and it landed right in his lap and he took it down and dunked. What's he supposed to do? He didn't make some great defensive play to earn the ball. And Jay Billis was like, he's having a monster game. Shit, I would too if the ball bounced to me in midcourt with no defender. I mean, it's like sometimes the ball just comes your way. I mean, yeah, you got to be in the right place at the right time. But I think Arizona, there were a couple of plays that were a little questionable. And, you started feeling ghosts of the BYU game. Like, here we go again. These fools are going to cut it down to 1 or 2 and we may mess it up. And people forget, and I'll always hold firm to this, Braden Burries left his man and blocked the game-winning shot in Provo. We lose that game, it's no telling what the ramifications and reverberations from that game would have been on a team's psyche and record going forward. But we didn't lose that game. We didn't toss it away. We stayed undefeated, and we racked up more wins since that game. But that, to me, was one of the biggest plays of the season so far because it literally saved a game that would have had Tommy and the kids and the fan base feeling so low had we lost that game at BYU. And I started feeling that vibe as they were getting sloppy towards the end of the game last night. I was like, man, what's going on?
Well, I wasn't feeling that. I was feeling like, man, don't let me punch one of these kids trying to jump my back out of these stands, trying to rush the court.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's right. You was in harm's way. Them kids said they told they were gonna rush the court. Luckily, they didn't have to.
I was.
I don't think who did rush the court?
Huh?
You know who did rush the court?
Yes.
ASU at Texas Tech.
For a team that was ranked 13.
Hey, man, you take whatever you can get, man. You take whatever you can get. And this is the crazy thing.
Here's something that's really asinine, in my opinion. And I love them to death, but somebody from that crew in Tempe sent me a stat talking about ASU leads the country in 2-point wins. Like 2 points or less. And I'm like, oh, I'm sure they do because they're always in them.
Yeah. Well, it's a double-sided coin. Give them credit for being around in crunch time, but that we don't give a damn spirit, it cuts both ways. They've given away games they should have won, and they've won 2 or 3 games this year. Like, how in the hell did y'all beat them?
They tried to do it this week. They tried to give that game away. They did everything they could to give that game away.
They had it won, and they tried to give it back. And the shots that Odom missed against us, he made against Texas Tech, and they rushed the court because that was the biggest win of the year. Did it save the Bobby Hurley situation? I don't know that it did, but I do know you're either a hammer or a nail in the Big 12. And the league is literally split. You can look at the standings and be like, hammer, 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 hammer. And these are all nails. Yeah. And for a moment, the nail got to be the hammer, and they enjoyed it. And I love that about college basketball, because you got these games left on your schedule. You might as well play them. You know, that's my thinking as a hooper. It's hard to praise them boys up north as a Wildcat, but as an analyst, I got to say, yeah, Toppin, the Toppin's around. Maybe it goes differently, but either way, they still had enough where they were favored to beat them without him. He went down with 6 minutes to go. But yeah, crazy game. Rush the court. Crazy. But the thing I'm most proud of, and I hope I never see it, we've never rushed the court at McKale. Never. I mean, that's not what we do. And it was interesting. Kansas didn't rush the court when they beat the number 1 ranked Arizona. That shows you
that's respect.
Who the elites really are. We don't rush the court when we win. We expect to win all the time. We're Kansas. We're Arizona. These schools that rush the court, they may be still in the stages of program building. I don't see Houston, if they pull off a win Saturday, I don't see them rushing the court because they beat Arizona. I don't see us rushing the court if we win at Houston. Shake hands, and unfortunately, we'll probably hook up again in the Final Four. We'll see you later. It'll be we'll see you in the tournament, Big 12 tournament probably. But yeah, it's interesting. Hopefully. It's all about perspective.
For sure. Hopefully. Listen, we had one other thing to get to today, but I really don't want to talk about Darryn Peterson, so we're just gonna skip that. Just listen, if I'm an NBA team, I'm not touching them. I'm just not. Not that high. No, not happening.
The Darryn Peterson thing
is crazy.
I'm gonna tell you, Darryn Peterson, Mick Cronin's rants.
Tongues real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick.
He threw the kid out the game.
No, that's fine. Whatever. All right, man. Like, you want to coach your team hard, that's cool. But like, a reporter asked you a question, it was a simple question, and you said it was a stupid question. That's fine.
It was a stupid question, though.
It was a stupid question. And then he was about to move on, and then he decided to come back and double down and be a dick about it. That is where he was wrong.
He shut the question down, and then the second portion was an attempt to bully that young man. I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
and I thought Nick should have kept his.
He does.
Yeah, he should have. He didn't have to do the second part.
No,
Izzo does it. Danny Hurley does it. Sean Miller does it. When these reporters ask goofball questions trying to create content, a good coach.
That Corey.
But I'm saying a good coach gets offended because he's like, I know what you're trying to do here. It's a dumb question, but my job description literally says I have to sit here and take questions from you. So I'm in a tough spot.
I'm just going to say this. A guy that you and I both love dearly was an innocent bystander covering a basketball game, asked a question to Mick Cronin, and Mick Cronin confused him for somebody else and lit him up.
You know who he was? Who did he mistake Justin for?
I don't know, but he lit him up. That's why everybody was
Justin caught somebody else's heat.
That's why everybody was tweeting at Justin after that clip came out and said, "Oh, Justin, it looks like you're off the hook now."
Wait, so Mick mistook him for someone else who he had a beef with.
He must have, because Justin's never done anything to the guy, never even talked to him. It was crazy.
But you know what? I know Justin, and Justin did something in the universe to deserve that karma. So you tell Justin, wah, He earned that some way or another.
Damn, Justin taking Spears.
No, that's my guy.
So.
But my point was, coaches reaching this breaking point where Bill Self is giving these pressers like, I don't know what to do. And Jerome Tang is talking about these guys are going to be in the jersey next year. And Mick is going on rants. And Calipari is talking about the State of the Union. And Izzo is doing his thing. And it's all connected. The coaches have no leverage or tools to be able to do the job that they're paid to do. And you're starting to see in the 4th or 5th month of the season, it's bubbling to the top. You're Kansas. You've paid this kid $1 million to play ball. He hits a jumper and turns to you and says, yeah, I'm good. Take me out the game. What?
That's exactly what he did too.
He looked at Bill Self.
He said he shot the ball, then he was just like,
this isn't Cochise Community College, bro. This ain't Scottsdale. This is Kansas. Who do you think you are? Do you know how many hoopers have come through Kansas and gotten floor burns diving for loose balls on their way to the NBA? They was going to the NBA when they came to Kansas, but they gave that program everything they had, and they did it for free. You're getting millions, and you subbing yourself out, and Bill Self can't even light you up because Bill Self is currently trying to recruit the next version of you to come in next year. No, and he don't want to scare that kid off.
No, he ain't. He don't want somebody with that kind of DNA.
I'm saying he's trying to recruit ESPN top 50 kids. Is what I'm saying. Sure. Now, you don't know if the kid's a bad apple till he gets on campus, but my point is he really can't go all grown man on you and give you the heat you deserve because he's still got to put on a good face for the recruits. So he's got to do this song and dance like he's not utterly disrespected and enraged. I just can't believe. And it's not like you pulled it with a mid-major coach. You pulled it with one of the best of the best. And I'm just like, wow, I never thought I'd see Bill Self helpless. Just don't have, I don't know. I thought we'd get it. You only got 18 minutes out of him. I mean, I thought he was good to go. You thought? It's your program. They're your trainers. He's your player, but you're telling us in the presser, there's an information breakdown. You don't even know. He's telling you when he's good to go and when he's not. Regardless of what your medical staff is telling you, the kid is the one deciding when he wants to play.
Because he's on that fuck shit. That's what he's on. I'm sorry. I can't like no. Like he is. Hey. He's on his own. He's in his own space. He's in his own world. Darryn Peterson's only worried about doing what Darryn Peterson wants to do. I'm sure that's why he talks about himself over there in Kansas. And
you think you use a third person? You think?
Damn, if that was my son, I would light him up for being the way that he is. Like, no, man, you got paid money to go perform, and then you're gonna play 18 minutes and talk about sub me out.
So you think Darryn Peterson uses the third person? Like he goes to Sonic and is like, Darryn Peterson would like a cheeseburger with fries.
Yes, 1,000,000%. In my head, he does.
Darryn Peterson. No, but it's crazy because subbing yourself out the game, it's crazy. Where he is mentally, who knows? But here's my thing that cracks me up. How you subbing yourself out the game and your teammates beat the number 1 team in the country without you? If I'm Self, look here, bruh. I'd rather get bounced in the 3rd round of the tournament with my dignity and maintain the respect of all the players in the locker room who are committed to this team than win a national title with your punk ass.
Yes.
Bye. Good luck getting the rest of your money. You've gotten 70, 80% of it, but we're not paying you. You can go get ready for the draft. But what you can't do is put Kansas jersey on across your chest and pretend you're anything like the guys that came before you. I can't let you do that.
If you were an NBA GM, would you draft him? If you had a top 5 pick, would you draft him?
Hell no.
That's what I'm saying.
Because if you acting stupid over a couple $1 million, I'm not sinking $30 million in a rookie deal into you. You're not a transformational player. Nobody in the lottery is going to change their futures off any of these kids that are getting picked in the lottery. They're not going to change the direction of your organization. Maybe 4 or 5 years down the line, one of these guys will emerge as a hooper, but There are no game changers in the lottery that's just going to turn an organization around.
There's
in its
no
first 2 years.
generational talents in this one. There's no Wemby, there's no LeBron or anything. They're really good players, don't get me wrong, but nothing like that.
If I'm laying in the cut making $1 million as a GM or a president, or I'm making several $100,000 as a scout, I'm not risking my kids' college and my life and my paycheck on him. No, sir. Not doing it. And here's the other thing. Bill Self been sending kids to the league since Christ was a child. You know how many NBA contacts he has in his phone? What happened when people start calling him and he started giving up the real dope? Oh, this is a bum. He was late to meetings. He had the worst attitude ever. He didn't want to get in no extra shots. He listened to, like, I'm not saying coaches can sabotage players. What I'm saying is coaches protect their reputation. When Lute Olson told you that Steve Kerr can play in the NBA, 10, 12 years later and 5 NBA championships, you seen that Lute was right. When he told you that Gilbert Arenas is a special player, you took him, Agent Zero, you seen Lute was right. So these coaches, they know their opinions matter. Coach Calipari's opinion matters. These guys rely on these great coaches to give them good feedback so that they don't lose their job. So when they pick up the phone and they're like, "What's up with old boy?" Man, don't even waste your time on that dude, bro. I wanted him gone after the second month he was here. He's a horrible person. He don't have no work ethic. He's got a bad attitude. He's selfish. He's not a team guy. Oh, I'm telling you, man to man, he almost messed up my job. Don't let him come over there and mess up your job.
Yo, I'm telling you, man to man, if you draft him, you're going to be the one on the way out.
You see what I'm saying? And there's a rule in the NBA, and I want everybody to remember this rule, and I want you to repeat it to yourself when you see coaches get fired. Talent will get you fired. That's the rule in professional coaching. Whether it's the NFL or the NBA, talent will get you fired. We gave you such and such and such and such and such and such, and you couldn't win. Darvin Ham, you're fired. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
they name off the guys because he's talented, so it must be you. Darryn Peterson's talented, but don't let him get you fired.
For sure.
Nobody wants to hear about the things he didn't do and the way he messed up the team and he was a cancer in the locker room. That boy threw for 3,000 yards as a quarterback and such, and you can't win with him, so it must be you. It's not that simple. But it is that simple when you're trying to protect your job, you know? Yep. So, yeah, now that we had our rant on him, I feel better.
Okay. I will be in Houston, and I will be on the post-game show on Saturday with Kevin and Damon live from H-Town. We'll see who's knocking the boots after that one.
See, this is where I get mad because you live better than I do. You was on courtside at BYU. You know where I'm going to be Saturday? No disrespect.
Where you going to be?
St. Mary's at Washington State. I will be in glorious Pullman, Washington. At Washington State. See that face? The look you got on your face? You already know.
I've been there.
Bruh. Ain't nothing popping out there but the university, man.
Yeah. Hey, well,
I'm excited to do the game, but yeah.
I will say this.
It ain't Houston.
My whole game is just going out there, watching the game. I don't have any plans. I'm on the first flight back the next morning. Like I'm only out. I don't even think I'm out there for more than 24 hours.
Saul gonna be Papados, popping steak and shrimp with Destiny's Child.
Yes,
and you're gonna be go to the
life.
club. And you're gonna be out there with Scarface and all the rappers from Ghetto Boys. You're gonna be.
This is how fast I'm going out there. I didn't even tell my family I'm going out there, and they all live out there. I was like, I'm just going to out there, do myself and bounce. So anyway, thank you all for joining us tonight on another episode of McKale Madness. Make sure you subscribe to the pod if you are new. Make sure you hit that like button. Go ahead, Corey.
Houston prediction?
I'm going to say 75-70 Houston.
Cats by 2 on a Braden Burry's 3 at the buzzer. That's what I think it's going to be.
Cats by 2 on a Braden. Man, Braden Burry shoots a 3 down by 1. I'm gonna lose it.
He gonna have to. I'm telling you, it's gonna be. We're gonna get the win, but it's gonna be on some trickery.
Okay. All right. Hey, I hope that happens. You know I do. But we'll see. Also, you like the new setup, the new background? I got it all laid out.
Oh, you got Bibby and Bradley. Okay.
Yeah, we got a little setup. Right there, up there at the top.
I see the Wilbur bobblehead.
So you got a piece of the McKale court from the original court.
Mm-hmm.
That's DeAndre Ayton's shoe. And then then behind me I got I got loot back there. I got loot.
DeAndre Ayton's shoe, huh?
Yeah. And then of course we got Benedict Mathurin dunking all over Kevin's kinfolk. So you know what I mean.
That's a Halloween costume. You put on that shoe and go out through the neighborhood as trash.
And with that,
I forgave him for that son shit.
Yeah.
I'm
so
mad at that boy.
We do appreciate y'all. Hopefully the Cats can pull one out because that would be a big time win. Vibes would be at an all-time high, I think, if they beat Houston. But either way, they're going to be all right. They're going to come back home and actually they got another game in Waco on Tuesday. But we'll be back next Thursday for another episode of McKale Madness. For Corey, you can follow him at Corey, College Corey on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me at Saul_Bookman. You can follow the show at PHNX_Wildcats on Twitter. And check out Kevo Posts as well on Twitter. He's doing some cool stuff and is always dropping the latest nuggets with everything that has to do with the University of Arizona athletic department.
Kev be having some bars every once in a while.
Yeah, he'd be putting in work. So
yeah.
Shout out to Boban last night and everybody else that swung by and said hi. Until next time, folks, we love y'all. Peace. Bear down.
We all silly like the mayor.